I spent 4 years in prison awaiting trial.
Expected to land in the prison.
She have been there for like 2 years plus.
According to the Nigerian Correctional Service data on the summary of inmate population by conviction and persons awaiting trial as of the 12th of September 2022, there are about 53,710 inmates out of the 76,189 inmates at the correctional centers awaiting trial. This is about 70% of the total number of inmates at correctional centers. Therefore, at least 7 out of 10 Nigerian inmates are serving terms without being convicted. There are 253 custodial centers across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The FCT, home to over 3.5 million of the country's population, houses 3 of these custodial centers.
I was arrested in the year 2015, precisely November 12th. That was the most ugly day in my life.
Picardo spent 4 years awaiting trial in the Kuje Correctional Facility in Abuja. His experience there, he tells us, is painful to recall. With a family dependent on him and uncertain of his fate, he felt lost and helpless. Even more unbelievable to him was the fact that he was held for a crime he was unaware of.
I spent 4 months in SARS before I was taken to court. When I was taken to court, I was taken to Kuje prison for remand. Then I stayed in Kuje prison. From there, I was coming to court. Actually, there was no evidence obtained against me. My case was going on and on, and there was nothing. My judge just kept me. Many prosecutors they came, almost 6 prosecutors that they sent to come and stand against me. They came, but there was nothing to hold me. At the point at which even my case file got lost in the court, there was nothing to use it again. Prosecutor came in the court and told my judge that my case file is nowhere to be found. And they continue, but the judge still hold me down. I was taken to court, and there was a lot of frustration during my time of going to court. I will go to court, they will not sit, the court will not sit, they will adjourn me for another day. I will go to court, the prosecutor will not come, and the judge will still adjourn the case that they should call the prosecutor to come. Sometimes if I still go to court again, the prosecutor will come and there is nothing to prosecute me, but the case was just delayed. Sometimes we go to court, they say judge travel, he's not sitting. So it was just frustrating. When I came back, we thought my wife I could have not been here. Maybe you also, nobody could have known me in this place. So my wife supported me very well. And the church that God directed me, which is the Lord choosing, that I am presently with, they shaping my life. In this shop here is one of my church members that have owned this shop, and she look at me that in order for me to be staying at home, why not I come out here and doing something? In the church here, the pastor have been so kind, and everybody they just take me as a brother. So I am here. I'm not paying any money here. By staying there, I lost so many things. To be frank, I was doing very well outside. And I have an own on my own, which I employ people that I was paying them. But by going there, I lost everything. Everything was sold, and some of them scattered. People walk away with my things, even where my family was staying is no more whatsoever.
What is really disheartening is the detainees awaiting trial are remanded in the same facilities and treated in a manner as people who are found guilty and convicted. This is a gross violation of their fundamental human rights as reiterated by the human rights advocate we spoke to.
Awaiting trial detainees, or what we call the pre-trial detainees, or the pre-trial detention process, it's, to me, I want to say, or I always hold the view that it is a gross violation of the fundamental rights of Nigerian citizens or citizens globally. Yes, we understand the fact that citizens, there might be a need to arrest and keep some persons, but keeping persons longer than 24 or 48 hours without most of them even knowing what their cases are for petty offenses, such as people who carry wheelbarrows in Whistle Market and the rest, is a gross violation of the rights. Section 35 of the 1999 Constitution provides for personal liberty and keeping people longer than necessary without investigation, without without trials, without having them have their good day in court, is a gross violation of the fundamental rights of those citizens.
Life in a correctional center is a living nightmare, with experiences that one never forgets. Yahaya, having spent about 9 years awaiting trial in Kuje Correctional Facility, recounts his experience pursuing justice.
My case stayed for 8 to 9 years. I was going to court probably sometimes 3 times in a year. I see the judge maybe once or twice in a year. Maybe sometimes when I go to court, you see the court is not sitting there. The judge is not fully fine. Sometimes you see the judge travel. Sometimes if I go to court, you see the prosecutor is not around, the witness are not around. I was having to keep on adjourning the case for 8 to 9 years before I was granted bail. Yeah, the food was very, very bad. Even the beans they serve us in the morning, they give your dog at home, you will not eat. But you don't have any option but to keep on eating it. This experience in prison has affected my life very well because when my wife gave birth, my son was just 3 months old before I was arrested. And when I went, many things happened. Even my wife left me in the condition that I was in prison for so long. So it affects me a lot. My mom got sick. Up till now, my mom is still sick because of the issue that I went to prison as the last born of the family. Some people died in the prison. Lack of medical attention and the type of food we eat. Sometimes the warders treat us nice, sometimes they treat us bad. For example, the prison authority came for searching. So they now pack our DSTV and the television. So when we started talking now, they now spray tear gas. Some people almost died. They now spray tear gas. When they locked us for like 1 week, we didn't come out with the tear gas. Some people fainted. It was by the grace of God, some people didn't even die. It was because of that issue. One guy called Sonny died. Because the way he held the tear gas, when they now granted him, they discharged his case. When he now come out, it was not up to 2 days, he now died because of the incident. When we heard that when they took him to the hospital, that was what led to his death. So that is the aspect of the suffering that we went through on the other side.
The issue of awaiting trial is one that cuts across the government, the judiciary, and all law enforcement agencies, as the cause of detainees and inmates awaiting trial for prolonged periods can be traced to the inefficiency of these agencies. The stakeholders we spoke to shared their opinion on this.
I would just share with you experience about myself. I did a lot of pro bono cases with Kuje, and the last time we did one, we were in prison and we saw cases of people that were waiting trial for close to 5, 6, 7 years. So the reason was because the nominal complainant did not come to court because lawyers were not showing up. They don't have a right to legal practitioner or the prosecutor that is supposed to come and help them out, or the defense counsel, whatever the case may be. And also, sometimes case files can also miss. That's why you have an issue where there's no case file to actually know the actual crime of the person. And if there's no case file, there's nothing to proceed, and the person keeps staying in prison for how God knows when, until something else happens. And if you are waiting trial and you're not being tried, it's a fruitless journey, because a lot of your rights will be breached, a lot of your human rights, and then it tantamount to injustice already happening to you.
The nature of the case determines the period it will last in court before it is being determined. If the case is a minor offense or miscellaneous offense, that is in which the punishment is 3 years and below, it may take like 6 months or slightly above 6 months. But if the case or the offense is felony but not punishable with death, then it may take 2 years or even more. But if the case is capital in nature, that is where the offense attracts death penalty, it may take 2 years or more. All in total depends on the way the law enforcement agents, the prosecuting, and the court, as far as the post-trial or the reformatory stage, handles the matter.
The Nigerian judicial system generally, it drags these cases so long that it's one of the reasons why inmates stay too long in the even with the coming of the ACJA, the Criminal Justice Act 2015, some of our judges, some of our key stakeholders in the criminal justice system are still not in line with the requirements of the ACJA. If they can go through whatever the requirements in the ACJA, I believe that our consular centers will be able to mitigate this long stay of inmates in consular centers. Additionally, another thing we have is this slowness of the judicial system to accept our non-custodial measures, because there are some cases that you don't really need to throw them into the consular centers. Hawking, trespassing, these are minor offenses that they can actually be given custodial measures like community sentencing, cleaning of the markets, the churches, the streets, the mosques, like that, the sewage systems. And it's already there. The Nigerian Correctional Service 2 weeks back inaugurated the parole board so that it will kick off almost immediately. We don't want anybody to say because of some minor offenses you are thrown into the facility, into the consular center, then releases, going to court, not going to court, will not be a case that for a minor offense that would have taken you just a year, somebody will stay in the consular center for upwards of 3 years. We want, if the judiciary can take these non-custodial measures, hook, line, sinker, I believe that this long stay of inmates in the consular centers will be mitigated to a very large extent. And another one is this, you see, I would say recidivism or stigmatization of inmates, even if they come outside, because we have this, we call them jailbirds. When you go out, you always want to come back again. You get it? So if the community itself is ready to accept them, it's not basically the criminal justice system. Even the inmates have their own too. They should also be blamed. The lawyers should also be blamed. It's a general blame game thing that if all hands are to come and be on deck, it will certainly be rectified.
The law enforcement agencies who used to sometimes prosecute, like the police, because they don't do their investigation on time or as required, they take matter to a court that did not have the power to try such an offense, just to get remand order that the person should be taken to prison. Why the court did not have the power to try that particular offense, and they know.
Whilst the reasons detainees and inmates await trial in correctional facilities around Nigeria for long periods of time before they finally get justice are indeed numerous, for this family of an inmate awaiting trial in the Kuje Correctional Facility, the reason is simply about the abuse of power and the lack of resources and support to pursue justice.
Okay, he was arrested year 2020 in August 14th. Just in the morning before we woke up, we heard that there was a problem on the road, on the street, close to where we were staying. We went out there to ask what happened. We saw one police officer passing one way, which he almost hit down a little child, and boys around came out to say he should revise back. He should just turn back from where he was coming from. He should go and pass the right way. At the end of it, he picked two of them that they are thieves, they are robbers. They are about robbing him. When they got to the police station, they said he laid allegation against them that they were about robbing him, they are robbers. People around followed them to the station and said, no, it's not so. This is what they explained what happened at the station. Because he was a police officer, they could not listen to people around. They just took what the police officer told them, because they say he was a DPO somewhere, and he called the nearest police station, which they came and packed those boys. And they finally left two of them, and they jailed two of them that they were supposed to come and bail themselves with a particular amount of money, which the money was not there. They had to send them to prison. First week, they said they took them to Kefi. We tried tracing it out so that we'll be able to release them. The policeman did not come, and those persons that sent him to court did not come. He kept staying. They were bringing him like two weeks interval to see if they will come and set to the case so that we'll bail him out of the case. They said, okay, if they can place him on bail, let's bail him. It kept lingering like that till he has been there for like 2 years plus. They said they gave him 2 count charges. The other count charges we don't know. The first count charges, they said it was insult. And the insult, what caused the insult, nobody could say. It's just because the man had an upper hand against us. So he has been there for 2 years plus now, which we had to go for a lawyer. We got this lawyer, we paid some money, he continued coming like that. Each time he comes, we pay. Each time he comes, we pay. Just for the police officer, for him to come and say, okay, let's let this go. It's like maybe, let's treat people around this vicinity the way they are, because people around there are not really learned and are not really ready to say, okay, let's fight this out. Just the way Nigeria is, who have an upper hand in the case. So that is just what have happened, and he have been there. I've been following it up from Kefi to Kuje. From Kuje, they took him to one other side and returned him back again to Kuje. So he have been there for some time right now. The prisoners are not being taken care of. They don't give them good food. They don't treat them. If they are sick, nothing bothers them. All they know is they are prisoners. They don't have good accommodations. The environment is nothing to write home about. It's nothing to talk of, because even animals, the environment they keep prisoners, they're not supposed to be.
There is a need for the government, the judiciary, civil society organizations, NGOs, activists, advocates, and well-meaning Nigerians to collaborate to ensure that all people enjoy their constitutionally guaranteed rights. We got some insights on what can be done to ensure this.
Numbers in terms of number of people who are awaiting trial in Nigeria keep increasing. And this data that we even have, or is everywhere, deals with the data from the correction services, right? What of data from other arresting agencies? Once a person has not been found guilty, he is awaiting trial. So do we have accurate data or information from NDLEA, from EFCC, from ICPC, from the civil defense, from those organizations that have the powers to arrest and detain people? We need interagency coordination. Let these agencies begin to talk to one another. Let the systems begin to speak to each other so that we can have an actual database that says these and these and these are the number of people and these are the stages of their trial. That way, we begin to reduce the numbers and we begin to really care for our citizens in this country.
I'm just calling on to the government to look into the matters of so many inmates who are still awaiting trials, who are undergoing trials. Some people are being convicted, but they committed nothing. So they should fast track their cases.
Lack of funding will translate to a shortage of manpower, and that is why we have to collaborate with the NGOs. It's in our Act, the Legal Aid Act 2011, to collaborate with NGOs so that they register with us, we assign cases to them, they can bring cases to us, they align with us as partners so that we can work together.
It would be a really good thing for us if, and I know all the stakeholders of the criminal justice system are working towards it, we're also involving the NGOs to see how we can assist to do advocacy visits to whoever is concerned, whichever agency is concerned, to see how this long stay of awaiting trial in custodial centers is mitigated.
I know people that went to prison and met them, and Osas Adewinga, Chuadu, Pastor Light, and the rest, even schoolboy, Biggie, they were in prison for so long. Biggie was in prison and waiting trial for 14 years. Oda waiting trial for 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, awaiting trial. I'm urging the government to do something about that.
We're already doing better, but there's more for us to do in the criminal justice system so that we can get this thing done. Nigeria could do better, the system could do better, but it also lies within all lawyers, including all of us wherever we are, to take up this cause and know that rights are being breached if nothing is done with time.
For many detainees and inmates, the reality of awaiting trial in Nigerian correctional centers for many years is like a split open wound that for some may never heal, and for others leaves varying magnitudes of scars in its wake. The urgency to do something about this issue hangs over us all.